Welcome to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right, that is correct, folks. This is Knightline, the morning after. I am Andrew Phegley, and we are live, coming to you from the 1148 studios with Ben Stout here. And then also back in the ESPN studios, you have Chase Bunker. And then also on the phone from there, you have Roger Knight, Bengal. This is Knightline the morning after. Like I said, we're brought to you by Chad Bar Law, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. We will take your phone calls, 844-225-5580, if you have something to talk to us about on the Dever team line, or your texts at 21232. Or you can reach me personally at AP_Knightline on Twitter. Ben Stout, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. It looks like we got some student athletes coming back on campus this week. We got some things to talk about, sports restarting and their plans unveiling. So we're excited about what could happen in the next couple of months.
Absolutely. There are things to talk about. Roger, are you there? How are you doing, my friend?
Hey guys, I can barely hear you. I'm sorry if you can hear me. I'm going to try this again, but I'm doing well. I'm starting to get excited about the season.
All righty. Absolutely. Yeah. It's looking more and more, in my personal opinion, like we're getting there. I'm not saying we're going to have football fully with full fans in the stands yet.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking we're getting a little bit closer. We do have a new recruit, which is another thing, a guy that signed on, which is a big deal, Cameron Brady, a wide receiver from Arlington, Texas, went to Arlington Lamar High School, class of 2021, for next season, 6'3", 195 pounds. I repeat, 6'3", 195. 6'3", I like, obviously, if I'm going to repeat it over and over again. I just like tall receivers. I like those guys. I'd like him to be 6'7", obviously, but I'll go with 6'3". He's kind of a lanky guy. He can put some weight on, obviously, when he gets here and starts working out. He obviously will. But a powerful guy, fast guy. I'm excited about him, Cameron Brady.
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit more about him later. I'm sure we'll let Roger kind of fill us in on him because I know he's done his homework on him. We've also got a little news from a little while back. We didn't do a show last week, had some technical difficulties, all that stuff. So we've got stuff from last week that I want to still, include. Darren Green Jr. has decided that he's foregoing his NBA dreams for this year. Got some feedback from the NBA, and he was available with the media. I think it was last week or the week before, but we'll play that coming up in the second segment. And that's good that he's coming back, obviously, for his, I think it would be his sophomore season.
It would be a sophomore year, yeah.
Early to go out for a guy like that for freshman. We figured that he would probably just, get some feedback and come back. So UCF provided him on Zoom, and we'll have that for you in the second segment. Ben, what do you got on your mind? Is there anything like you just want to talk about here real quick?
Well, all those things you mentioned are exciting that we're looking forward to potentially having a college football season on time, hopefully, as other professional sports leagues start to put their plans out there of their reopening or their restart to their seasons, and those plans start to be put in place. Hopefully, college will be able to gain some knowledge and some insight from those professional sports and be able to apply it on the college campus. And But yeah, I'm excited to also talk about those recruits as well. We are seeing we've got 3 wide receivers now committed for the 2021 class, which is going to be a area of need for us. So it's exciting that they're going out and they're getting those guys.
5 players right now on the board that I see on the 2021 commitment list. Cameron Brady, Xavier Franks, Cale Sanders Jr., Ronnie Hamrick, and Davis Mallinger. 3 wide receivers, like you said.
Yeah.
That's exciting. They're all over 6 foot. So a couple of guys that are 6'2", one at 6'3". So tall guys. Every one of them that I've seen has a lot of speed, which is good, obviously, in this offense. And guys that like to go up and get the ball and will go get the ball wherever the ball is thrown. So that's a good deal as well. Very excited about that. Roger, you say you can hear us now better. Can you comment?
Yeah, thanks for bearing with those technical difficulties there for a minute. But yeah, man, I'm super excited about the recruiting aspect of it. We actually have another one that just recently popped. I don't want to put out who that is yet, but it'll be a tight end. The last time we were together, we talked a little bit about Zay Franks and kind of told everybody, hey, look out for this guy. Well, it seems like it's really popping now. As far as football is concerned, we've got guys on campus, and with guys being on campus, that bodes well for the season. Danny White actually shared a little bit about what they're going through to help protect the guys, and it's a pretty comprehensive plan that was with Orlando Health. So for me, right now, things as far as football are concerned are looking up. We've got different leagues and different states. In fact, the state of Texas said that they are at 50% capacity for their large stadiums. I imagine Florida will follow suit with at least 50%. We've got recruiting popping, and at the same time, it seems like we have a plan. And that was the big thing, with this whole situation is the unknown. And Danny White has, and believe it or not, the AAC has been really diligent, as well as 2 other leagues, about putting together a plan. So all of that makes me think, hey, we're going to have a football season. It may look a little different as far as who's in the stands, but dude, I'm just excited football's coming, and I'm starting to feel the energy now with guys back on campus and recruiting blowing up. I'm feeling the energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely feeling the energy. And there was a press release on the 29th, May 29th, from UCF, basically saying UCF student athletes return to campus for voluntary workouts. I'm going to read some of the highlights here. Our staff has been consulting regularly with national health experts as well as colleagues within our American Athletic Conference and locally with Orlando Health. We're committed to keeping students, student athletes, staff, and coaches in campus and the community as safe as possible amid the pandemic. We expect flexibility to be required as we navigate multiple new sets of circumstances. And the elements of this whole thing in their press release say medical administrative week. All returning student athletes will take part in an initial week of reorientation that will include COVID-19 testing at UCF through specialized Orlando Health mobile testing team and extensive physical examinations. They will also participate in a series of educational sessions designed to ensure that they understand the behaviors required to remain safe and healthy team and personal environments. So yeah, they also talk about summer facility access. Student athletes will utilize multiple strength and conditioning facilities in small groups to minimize cross-contamination, blah, blah, blah. They're going to do a lot of cleaning. In the housing section, they mention 2/3 of the football student athletes are returning for voluntary summer workouts at this point and will be housed in the university residence halls, and the remainder will live off of campus, which is probably pretty normal anyway.
Right.
There are definitely some that live off of campus. There are additional plans in place to, in case isolation or quarantine is required for that. staff as far as that goes. All student athletes will have access to Dr. Michael Jablinski. I don't know how to say it, but he's got kind of a weird name there. But the medical director for UCF Athletics and president of Jewett Orthopedic Clinic, who will liaison with Orlando health specialists that are involved in public health and infectious disease. And then the director of UCF Sports Medicine, Mary, and the UCF Sports medical staff for all medical needs. So I'm glad that Orlando Health has stepped up to help us out here. That's a big, big deal. I worked for that company for 7 years. I know them well. So it's just good that all this is going. Obviously, they have this planned out really well. There has been some issues at other schools, not at UCF that we've heard of so far, but Marshall, there was an issue with some student athletes that tested positive, and a couple other places. So
right.
It's possible it could happen.
Yeah, what I found interesting too. Go ahead, Roger.
No, I was just going to say it's actually now it's a good thing that folks are kind of freaking out a little bit because people are testing positive. And it was Alabama, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, and Marshall so far. And the big thing about that is that we actually have, folks that are testing and people are back on campus and we're testing the system. So the fact that these are being caught, being isolated, and moving forward, I think is a really, really good thing. And as Andrew said, so far so good for UCF. They're scheduling about 60 student athletes for football to be on campus with 20 following. Later in July, and then actually men's hoops and women's hoops will also be back in July. So the plan is working. There's other people that are testing it. To me, those are all good signs that the plans that are being put in place are working, and these things are being caught before they can proliferate for the rest of the team. And go ahead, Ben. I'm sorry to have interrupted.
No, that was what I was gonna say. Those second and third waves coming from the rest of the student athletes that are involved in the fall sports and winter sports, with men's and women's basketball coming later this June, and then the rest of the fall sports following in July. I find it interesting that of course we all know football is kind of king, right? And they're not only. It's not only an important marker that the football season is given its best effort to start in a very good way, but it's also it'll affect a lot of other sports, and then also the football team is obviously the largest athletics team on campus, and so certainly coming out with a plan that seems really measured. Seems really smart in the way that they're going about it. These small groups in one workout facility, and then you move, and then while they're cleaning the other workout facility, and then another group joins that the second workout facility. They seem to be going about it in a really measured and smart way, and there's a lot riding on these athletes coming back to campus. If there is an incident, how it's handled, if it's handled well, then maybe that can give confidence and learnings that we can take into the regular season and actually have a regular season in the fall. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the big deal. It all has to work out. All the stars have to align for all this stuff to happen. And, I mean, I really hope that it will. I think that we're making progress, obviously, on all this stuff. So this is the big test, really, to get those guys back. So that is exciting, extremely exciting. I can feel it. It's coming. Football is coming. We're almost there.
I mean, it is certainly nice to have some positive things, like some things that are actually moving towards playing sports as opposed to the other direction. So, our positivity is measured, but it is certainly positive.
Big news for Orlando as well, with the NBA and Major League Soccer and maybe even a little baseball, going on here. So that's going to be interesting as well, with all those teams, staying at Disney hotels or whatever and playing, there. Real quick, what do you think about the NBA thing? not really that we talk about the NBA a lot on here, but I
think it's a great it's a smart way to restart the season, and only taking the teams that had a chance at the playoffs with the format that they're going to do. And what I find really interesting about the restart for a local team, being a fan of the Magic, is that there's only 9 teams in the Eastern Conference that are part of this restart, this 22-team restart. And so that 9, 8, and 7 slot that are right now occupied by the Magic, Nets, and Wizards, that 8-game regular season is going to be really exciting for the fans of those teams, because every game truly matters in order to make the playoffs and make that, quite frankly, make the 7 seed, because the 8 and 9 seed are going to play in like a little extra tournament. So you want to kind of avoid that.
I may actually watch some basketball. I may actually watch some NBA, and I'm going to be rooting for the Orlando Magic if I do.
I mean, it's live team sports that are on TV.
Exactly.
I mean, that's going to be exciting.
That's a big deal in itself. So that's why I'm saying.
Exactly.
And then also these games, the way they have this thing structured, it seems like there's going to be games like on all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, to get all these games, through. So there's probably going to be games on Wednesday afternoon, so if you can watch at work or whatever, if you have the ability, if you're working from home, you can watch all kinds of basketball.
It'll be a fascinating way to watch sports, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, well, when we come back after the break here, we're going to talk, we're going to play the Darren Green press conference thing that was on Zoom, and we will talk with Roger a little bit more about recruiting, and we'll discuss all kinds of stuff on Knightline the morning after on ESPN 580 Orlando.
From First Take to your radio.
The NHL has a huge opportunity here because eyeballs mean something. I mean, look at the ratings for the match that we had over the weekend. Now, yes, there was celebrity star power to it, but the conversation the next day was what a win it was for golf, and how can golf continue to sort of move forward with that. I believe that that's going to be the same challenge that the NHL has. They're going to have an opportunity to get an audience, and then they're going to have to figure out how to maximize that audience.
First Take, your take, weekdays from 1 to 3 on ESPN 580. Golick and Wingo.
Here's what Vic Fangio had to say about racism in the NFL.
I think our problems in the NFL along those lines are minimal. I don't see racism at all in the NFL. I don't see discrimination in the NFL.
I don't see how you can say there is no issue with minorities in the NFL 2 weeks after the league has admitted we have a problem.
And my God, the NFL couldn't be more behind. I mean, you just mentioned from 8 minority head coaches to 4. There's 2 offensive coordinators that are African-American, 2 front office as well. You had a player do a peaceful protest, and was blackballed by the owner. I'm sorry, Vic, to say if you're talking about the whole NFL that there is not an issue. I would disagree. There is an issue that even the league admitted.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN 580 Orlando. Because driving home in Orlando traffic stinks. ESPN Afternoons with Scott Inez is there.
Great Stan Van Gundy. Jay Will, had a great first year with us. The next year he was hurt. He missed all of training camp. And I had to do one of these speaking engagements after practice one day. And so I speak, and afterwards this guy comes up to me and says, hey, I know Jay Will. Oh, yeah, how do you know him? And he says, I play ball with him. Like, I want to say he said every Tuesday and Thursday night. I said, oh, you mean like in the summer? He said, no, we just played last night. So I go to Jay Will at practice, and I'm like, Jay Will, this dude said you played last night. He goes, yeah. I said, Jay Will, it's the NBA. You can't play like down at the Y or wherever he was playing.
Right.
During the season, he said, hey, Stan, you're not playing me, and I got a ball.
ESPN Afternoons with Scott and Ed. Weekdays 4 to 6 on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else in New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Ashiro's work is never done. You care for the house, the kids, and our future. We're so grateful for all you do. Now, it's time to care for yourself and save a little more for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to boost your retirement savings now. Visit asiaretirement.org/Shiro today.
A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, back on Knightline the morning after, live from the 1148 studios and the ESPN studios for ESPN 580 Orlando, brought to you by Chad Barr, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit Chad Barr Law. We will also take your calls, not during this segment, but the third one if you want to, at 844-225-5580 on the Dever team line. We're going to get to the Darren Green Zoom call just to hear this real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about that after you hear this. So here's Darren Green's Zoom call.
Thanks a lot for joining us. Talk about the decision-making process you went through and you decided to go, put your name into the draft. Who did you talk to and what sort of, what was your process like in deciding, to go into the draft?
So actually I talked to, my dad, Coach Dawkins, of course, Coach Norris, and Coach Drew. And, my whole point of doing it was pretty much for feedback, seeing, with the situation we're going through with the coronavirus and COVID-19, there weren't really workouts. It was kind of based off film. So, Coach Dawkins said he didn't think it would hurt to, at least go get that feedback from those teams. And so, I went in and did it.
What about that feedback? What were the positive points that you heard about your game, and what are some areas that they suggested you could work on?
It was the same, pretty much the same that Coach Dawkins and, the team told me that I should work on, my ball handling, the thing I can shoot. But, putting the ball on the ground a little more, being more vocal, even things like that.
Darren, and then obviously you had to make a decision to come back to school. Was that easy? Was there a lot of thought process into that? And how much of an impact, obviously you just played your freshman season. What did you want to come back to college and learn more?
Definitely just to improve my game. I want to become a better leader on the court. I want to be able to do more than just shoot. Get to the hole, put the ball on the ground. I feel like this year I could have, brought when we were getting pressed, came to the ball a little more, things like that. So just to improve my game.
Were you able, obviously you said like you can't do your workouts. Were you able all to do any sort of Zoom meetings with NBA teams or anything like that? Or was it strictly a paper evaluation?
I didn't do any Zoom meetings or anything like that. It was, they had the film, they had everything, and went off that.
I want to go back to the past season. Talk about how your game evolved, how your confidence soared as you were experiencing success on the court.
I got more comfortable on the court. My team, actually, that came from my coaches and my teammates. They gave me the confidence. I feel like if I passed up some shots, like my teammates would tell me to shoot those, and my coach would tell me to shoot. And so, that just brought me confidence. And, I feel like I got more comfortable putting the ball on the floor towards the end of the year. I feel like I need to work on defense a little more, but I feel like I was in the right spots, and I feel like I got stronger throughout the season. So, I'm ready to carry that on this year, the next season.
Darren, obviously the season didn't end the way anyone would have expected it. Do you feel like you guys got closure on this past season?
I feel like we had some unfinished business, to be honest, so I feel like we could have went further than people expected. We we underachieved this year, honestly. So I think we had a lot to prove on conference tournament time.
Darren, I mean, I know you just only completed your freshman season, but, coming in, you're a guy that played every game, second on the team in scoring. Do you think you're going to feel a little bit different, whenever you guys get back together in person for workouts? Do you feel like maybe you're developing into more of a leader?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm developing into a leader. I felt that towards the end of the last season. I don't think my role is going to change too much different. That's all I need to prove to coaches that I can do a little bit more, than just shoot. So I think it should be, my role should pretty much be the same.
Darren, can you take me back a little bit to Fort Worth and that moment of the?
It froze up. I couldn't hear it.
Oh, sorry. Can you take me back to Fort Worth when you guys found out that the tournament had been canceled? What that moment was like for you when you found out and what you observed in that moment?
It was almost, unbelievable. I was like, man, like my freshman season is really over. And then, seeing our seniors, their college career ending like that was just, man, it's something that I wouldn't even want to go through my senior year. I hated it my freshman year, and I still have, more time to play. That's their college career ended. So, coach always tells us that tomorrow's not promised. So, that was the truth that day.
What do you think the team needs to do in this next season to improve upon what was started during your freshman campaign?
Leadership. That's the biggest thing. We need to, way more leadership. And, once we get like a solid leader, and because everyone fights for each other already. So we need a strong leader.
Darren, just kind of looking back on your first year in college, what was kind of like the top moment for you? Like maybe when you're thinking about your freshman year, obviously we all got a lot of downtime. What was like the high point or the best moment for you personally?
For me personally, the game against Tulsa. Me and Matt Williams, we used to go back and forth about, me breaking his record. And then, during that game, I thought I was going to hit 12 threes actually. That's just the way I was feeling. And so, I didn't get 12 threes, but I hit a good percentage. And, that was my career high. And so that was a good game. And we got to win.
Darren, what have you been doing during the quarantine time to work on your game? I mean, you talked about some things you want to work on.
Oh, man.
Practice.
Man, I'm sorry. It froze up again.
Sorry, it's mine. How have you been working on your game? In this unusual time with the quarantine, how have you been working on your game?
I have weights at home. Our trainer sent us some bands, like some resistance bands, and so I've been, staying in shape by running, lifting, getting some squats and push-ups, sit-ups, and there's a park not too far from my house. So I go to the park and get my shots up every day. And that's pretty much it. I go with one of my old high school teammates, so, we can still social distance with that, not stay around, stay from a lot of people. And that's pretty much it.
Darren, a couple minutes ago, you mentioned Matt Williams and how you were communicating with him back and forth. Obviously, both of you guys are very good shooting the three-pointer. You mentioned his record, 12 threes in a game. Is that something now going forward? Are you kind of thinking about that in the back of your mind that you want to try to break that record or any of his other three-point records?
I mean, it's not something that I'm like chasing after. If it happens, it happens. But yeah, I would like to beat it. I've told him that I'm going to beat his record. So, we'll see.
Has talked about how he likes teaching young student athletes. What have you learned from Coach Dawkins?
Well, like for me personally, Coach Dawkins, he told me, don't do anything you can't do, and don't show other people you can't do it. So, with me as far as shooting, like sometimes I'll pass up shots and, drive. Let's say like I pass up a shot, drive in, and have nowhere to go. It was like, he'll always get on me like, why do you not shoot it? So he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't think I can't drive. It was just that I made a bad decision. So making smarter decisions on the court and then doing what you do.
Darren, with no live sports, I know a lot of us have been watching ESPN every Sunday the past few weeks to watch the Michael Jordan documentary Last Dance. Is that something that you've watched? And if so, do you have any thoughts on kind of maybe learning more about Michael Jordan in his prime?
Yeah, I watched it every Sunday. I didn't miss an episode. And, I was watching it with my dad. I've always been a Michael Jordan fan, but just getting to see like how he was in practice, one thing I want to do is like become more of a leader this year, and then seeing how he was leading his team, and like telling them where to be, getting on them in practice and like different things like that. I think it was helpful for me to see.
In addition to that, I mean, obviously we all got a lot of downtime. What have you been doing to kind of, pass the time? Any Netflix shows or anything like that? You've been catching up on video games or?
Not really. I mean, I don't really play video games like that. I actually did just get a PS4. I could just stay in contact with some of the teammates as well. But I haven't really been watching Netflix. Once I'm done like working out and everything, I pretty much sleep and then do homework, and that's pretty much my day.
Dan, I got another question, Darren. Just kind of, whenever you guys get back together and play this upcoming season, what kind of goals do you have? Now, having gone through 1 year and just kind of the unfinished business of last year, what kind of goals do you have for next season?
Well, personally, my goals are to, like I said before, just lead the team. Start bringing everybody together. I think we could do more things together, like off the court. Just bringing everybody together. It's going to be a new group. So, let's start off strong.
Alrighty, well, that was Darren Green. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to come back and talk about what we heard there. I'm sure there's some things that we want to discuss that he said. I'm ready for press conferences and stuff to go back to being in person. All right, we'll be back on Knightline the morning after here in just a minute on ESPN 580 Orlando.
International Diamond Center is doing our part to jumpstart the local economy with our best offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with no money down on everything.
This is incredible. Get the unbeatable low price IDC is known for and spread your payments out over 5 whole years without paying a dime in interest.
How about a $6,000 Viraggio ring for only $100 a month? Or a $4,000 Henry Dawsey ring for less than $68 a month?
Think about it. You pick any item in the IDC showcase, divide the price by 60, and that's your payment.
If you had to postpone your engagement this spring, IDC is here to help with all Forevermark and GIA certified diamonds included in this amazing offer. Get the diamond of her dreams and spread your payments out over 5 years.
Fine jewelry has never been more affordable.
Make the summer of 2021 to remember with help from IDC. 5 years, 0 interest with nothing down. Rings, bands, earrings, bracelets, pendants. It's all included. Now for a limited time only.
Only at International Diamond Center.
All 4 Orlando locations. On approved credit, see store for details or shop IDC.com.
I'm Michael Easton, president of Fellowship Financial Group and host of the Retirement Income Show. With all the volatility and uncertainty in the investment world today, you need to make sure you have a financial plan that can weather the storm. Give us a call at 407-949-5888. That's 407-949-5888. Or chat with us live at fellowshipfinancial.com right now. That's fellowshipfinancial.com. And don't forget to grab some coffee and join us on the Retirement Income Show every Saturday at 7 a.m. right here on ESPN 580.
Golick and Wingo.
Here's what Vic Fangio had to say about racism in the NFL.
I think our problems in the NFL along those lines are minimal. I don't see racism at all in the NFL. I don't see discrimination in the NFL.
I don't see how you can say there is no issue with minorities in the NFL 2 weeks after the league has admitted we have a problem.
And my God, the NFL couldn't be more behind. I mean, you just mentioned from 8 minority head coaches to 4, there's 2 offensive coordinators that are African-American, 2 front office as well. You had a player do a peaceful protest, and was blackballed by the owner. I'm sorry, Vic, to say if you're talking about the whole NFL that there is not an issue. I would disagree. There is an issue that even the league admitted.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative.
Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Whether it's on AM 580, FM 96.5 HD2, Alexa, or Google Home, we are everywhere you hear audio. ESPN 580 Orlando, Orlando's home for the biggest events in sports.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, back on Knightline the morning after. I am Andrew Phegley. Ben Stout is here with me in the 1148 studios. Chase Bunker is in the ESPN 580 Orlando studios, and then Roger Bengal is on the phone coming from there as well. And we just played the Darren Green press availability on, it was a Zoom call. Obviously, if you heard it, that was definitely a Zoom call. But we want to discuss that a little bit. Ben, I want to go to you first. Obviously, you are our basketball guy. So what was your biggest takeaway from that?
Well, I would say there was 3 takeaways, but one that was just glaringly and obviously the top one. And the top one is leadership. He talked a lot about leadership. I think I counted about 7 or 8 times that he mentioned it. Most of the time unprompted. I think that. As I said throughout the season on Knightline, the podcast, and on this show, that some of the frustrations that I was seeing from some of the losses that were happening during the season was that we had a lack of on-court leadership coming from the players. And it is really good, and it shows the maturity that Darren Green has, that throughout the season he realized that he's acknowledging it now in a somewhat a public forum. And he did confirm what we've been talking about, but also understands how he needs to get better as being the second leading scorer on our team last year as a freshman. And he sees that opportunity where there is a void when it comes to on-court leadership. And it really seems like he's ready to step up into that role coming into this year. And that's really exciting. The second one, real briefly, is he has got the ultimate green light from Johnny Dawkins to shoot the basketball wherever he sees fit. I think it's great to hear that. You've actually heard that from guys like Matt Williams himself in past interviews that Matt has done on Knightline, the podcast, or Sons of UCF, where he mentions how when Johnny Dawkins came into UCF, how much confidence that he instilled into. Matt Williams was saying that, where he just gave him the green light to shoot wherever he sees fits because he trusts him to do that. And you can really see that Dawkins has carried that through with Darren Green. And then lastly, he's gotten the feedback on what he needs to work on, which is relatively obvious if you pay attention to UCF basketball last year. We know that Darren Green Jr. is a fantastic shooter. That's no question about that. But certainly his ball handling, his ability to put the ball on the floor and get to the rim is one of the things he needs to work on coming up to this year. And definitely, in my opinion, rebounding is something that he needs to show that he can do at a high level, because that's one of the things that's not only going to help the Knights overall, but it's certainly going to help his pro chances in the future.
All righty. Yeah, absolutely. Everything you said there. Hey, we've got a caller. We have a guy that some of you may know, the one and only Jerry Daniels is on the phone with us. Jerry, what's going on, my friend?
All right.
Well, I had three things. By the way, great show, great conversation. I almost feel guilty because there's nothing I can add that's going to be as quality as what I've just heard. So I apologize in advance. But
I doubt that.
I will tell you that I wake up this morning from someone who is a survivor of losing everything in a storm. And I just want to make sure that everyone out there in your listener audience is okay, that it doesn't look like we've lost any lives last night. But I just listening to you guys be able to talk about the hope of what we have to look forward to in the next year for the UCF nation, even as someone who married into that nation. It's exciting, and thank you for doing what you guys do week in, week out, because I'm hoping this season the whole city unites around the Knights. Because what we need, we should call it unites, really. There needs to be a new term, #unites, because we're going to need this football season and everything that UCF does, because like every city in America, we've endured a lot in 2020.
We do need to unite and get the patch.
Yeah, they kind of did that at one point. It was kind of weird, but
it wasn't.
Yeah,
hey, I was Mr. Unite, so it wasn't too bad. So
okay,
let's not
that's
talk
right.
about that.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you were involved in that, I think.
Yeah,
Jerry. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And I'm glad everything is okay for you down there. I saw some footage.
Yeah.
I saw your pictures and stuff like that, and that. It's crazy that with everything else, then a tornado comes through Orlando, which is, interesting. Nuts. But
it's been a weird year for weather for a bunch of people I know. I had a close friend of mine who's the general manager and president of the new MLS club in Nashville. He hadn't even moved into his new home, and those tornadoes that went through East Nashville took out his house. So luckily for him and his family and two beautiful children weren't living in the house at the time, but it's just one of those things where every day is a blessing, and we need to remember that. I also have one plug. I wanted to plug that our buddy Kyle Israel is going to be on with Nicky Football on Monday. So if you are a UCF fan or you just want to hear other people talk about the future of football, college football right here in Central Florida, I'm sure Kyle Israel, former quarterback for UCF, will cover that. From 6 to 8 with Nicky Football. He's filling in this Monday. So if you're listening to this show, listen Monday from 6 to 8.
Absolutely. Well, you should listen every day from 6 to 8, especially Tuesday through Friday.
That's okay. It's normally mediocre, kind of crap. But honestly, on Monday with Kyle there, it'll be pretty good because I won't be there. So we're good.
Well, I don't know about that. Anyway, hey, thank you, Jerry, for calling. We really appreciate it, and we really appreciate
Have a great show.
All right,
Thanks a lot, Jerry.
We appreciate all your support, my man. We wouldn't be here on this radio station if it was not for Jerry. So greatly appreciated. We heard Chase's voice in there. It was amazing. I hadn't heard it all day. I feel bad though. We have to go to Roger just for a couple seconds, and then we'll come back to Chase though. Roger, what did you get from that Darren Green thing? We only have a couple of minutes here.
Okay, I will be brief. The big thing for me that I took out of it was, with the feedback from the NBA and kind of what we saw from last year, was not only the leadership, but for him specifically, we saw flashes of him being able to get to the hole, make things happen once he got into the paint. The big thing from him, though, is we have a void when it comes to point guards right now, true point guards. Even the transfer that we brought in was a shooting guard. He's a shooting guard, but he has the capacity and the length to be able to make stuff happen. So for me, it's for him to really become more of a combo guard, take advantage of his ability to get to the hole, make things happen. And we really need him to do that for more movement and making sure that we're getting back to the outside pass. So as big as he is off the three-point line, we need him to get in a hole, pass it back out, and give other folks the chance to be able to make those big shots because movement's going to be key. And, with the leadership aspect from last year, you've got to remember we had a transfer that came in. We had two transfers, actually, that were playing in the starting rotation. So we really never had the chance to get that to be able to gel. We've got a bunch of new guys that are going to be with us for the long term, and we really need him to step in the role and be everything he can be because he can be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Leadership, we talked about it the entire time. When the season, the entire season, yeah. And it's just such a big deal, and we kept saying this team needs a leader, and you could just see it on the court that they just didn't really have the leadership that they should.
That's right.
So I think that's obviously going to be a big thing to watch for. It may be a big thing to watch for in football as well. It's such a big thing in all sports to have leaders on the field or on the court or whatever, on the track, whatever you're doing. There needs to be leaders, obviously. So Chase, real quick, what do you got on any takeaways from that?
I was actually taking shots every time he said leadership, so I'm feeling pretty good right now, to be honest.
Can you do that on the radio?
For the sake of radio, I'm totally sober. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, exactly.
If the bosses are listening, I have to cover
doing
my
shots of water.
Yes, that's exactly
right?
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Wink. I think the main takeaway is I think we all kind of had a lot lower expectations when it came to this basketball season because we lost so many key people, and it was time to see people step up. And it sounds like Darren's really he's ready to kind of step up and take up this leadership mantle. And you guys, as much as that's the key word, that's the secret word of the day. We needed a leader, and I think if we get some leading, some accountability in there, and now he's getting the green light to take more of these shots. He averaged only 10 points a game. So if he's getting the green light, okay, hopefully he's going to pump up those numbers. Now, I don't want him to be like a Carmelo volume shooter. Yeah, he's going to get 30 points while everyone else is going to have 6. But he's at least unjustifiably giving me hope for next season. I don't know what it is, but just listening to him is okay, I feel a little bit better going into next season. We weren't as good. We were 7-11 in conference play. We were just above 500. And we start off the season so well, but then again, we were going up against, really bad teams. And when we faced, the actual Division I teams, we started losing. We had that 5-game losing stretch. That was awful. And I'm hopeful. I'm unjustifiably hopeful.
Yeah, hopeful is a good thing for sure. Hey, we need to take a little bit of a break here. We'll come back and we'll talk that recruiting stuff that we were talking about. We'll also mention a night that competed last night in UFC as well. A UCF night that competed in UFC. We'll be right back on Knightline the morning after.
Golic and Wingo.
I think this didn't work for one reason and one reason alone, and that's because that group of refs didn't want it to, because Al Riveron and these referees decided we're not going to overturn any of these calls, even in situations where the outside world looked and saw it was obvious. So I look at this and say, all right, if this group of people, the ones in this question that we've said over and over, these measures are there to help, are going to rebut this, how do we expect the Sky Judge to go much better?
Golic and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 on ESPN 580 Orlando.
We are America Strong, and at Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, we are driving America forward because reverse is not an option. Our showrooms are open, and now at Napleton, we have no payments for up to 6 months and 0% interest for up to 72 months on most models. And for the first time ever, employee pricing on Jeep Wranglers and Gladiators. So let's drive America forward. Napleton Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Reverse is not an option. Online at NapletonCJD.com. See NapletonCJD.com for full program details.
ESPN 580 celebrates our hometown heroes, medical professionals, first responders, truck drivers, grocery store workers, everyone working on the front lines so the rest of us can stay safe at home. We want you to brag on them, and then we want you to give them free food. Just go to ESPN580Orlando.com and upload a photo of a hometown hero you know. We'll randomly choose one winner a day to get a total of $100 in gift cards. Hometown Heroes celebrated every day by Dennis Hernandez and Associates, Hungry Howie's Flavored Crust Pizza, Southeast Steel Appliance Warehouse, your local Winn-Dixie, and ESPN 580.
Night Nation, this is Adam, one half of the dynamic duo that is the Sons of UCF, which is found only on the Knightline Sports Network. Join UCF Mike and I each week as we bring you some of the latest from in and around UCF sports, including such great segments as the Josh Heupel Translator, Top 8 Lists, and Cow of the Week. We'll also bring you some of the most in-depth and unique interviews with some of your favorite former Knights. You don't want to miss a moment, so make sure you subscribe to the Knightline Sports Network wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll take care of the rest. Go Knights. Charge on.
Because driving home in Orlando traffic stinks. ESPN Afternoons with Scott Inez is there.
Great Stan Van Gundy.
Jay Will, had a great first year with us. The next year he was hurt. He missed all of training camp. And I had to do one of these speaking engagements after practice one day. And so I speak, and afterwards this guy comes up to me and says, hey, I know Jay Will. Oh, yeah, how do you know him? And he says, I play ball with him. Like, I want to say he said every Tuesday and Thursday night. I said, oh, you mean like in the summer? He said, no, we just played last night. So I go to Jay Will at practice, and I'm like, Jay Will, this dude said you played last night. He goes, yeah. I said, Jay Will, it's the NBA. You can't play like down at the Y or wherever he was playing.
Right.
During the season, he said, hey, Stan, you're not playing me, and I got a ball.
ESPN Afternoons with Scott and Ed. Weekdays 4 to 6 on ESPN 580 and FM 96.5 HD2. Sports Center updates at the top and bottom of every hour.
And the latest breaking news in sports around the clock.
This is ESPN 580 Orlando.
And now, back to Knightline, the morning after, on ESPN 580 Orlando, WDBO. Call now at 844-225-5580 or text at 21232.
All right, back on Knightline the morning after. A quick final segment here. We're live from the 1148 studios and the ESPN 580 Orlando studios, brought to you by Chad Barr, raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036 for a free consultation, or visit chadbarlaw.com. He will take care of you. And I know there's a lot of you that have been cooped up in your houses and you probably have something to take care of. So call Chad Barr and he will handle it, I promise you. Okay, so real quick here at the end, we want to talk a little bit about UCF and UFC. See, you
there you go. Well
yeah,
done.
well,
sorry, I got in your head there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hard one to figure this out sometimes. Okay, so last night, Felicia Spencer faced off with now I can't think of Amanda Nunes. Yeah, for the flyweight title, I believe, or for women in the UFC. And she's from Orlando. She went to UCF at one time, and she hung in there. She is extremely a tough girl. Did not have a lot of offense, did not have a lot of defense, but lasted all 5 rounds with Amanda Nunes. And that is saying something. She also lasted all 5 rounds with Chris Cyborg before that. And those are the 2 toughest women ever in mixed martial arts. So if you watch that, shout out to Felicia Spencer. Chase, I know you watched it. You have any comments on that?
She is, Felicia, that is, my gosh, I thought she was going to just I thought they were going to call the fight early. I'm proud of her for lasting all 5 rounds, because she had this lump on her forehead and oh no, they're going to call this here. I think that she wasn't playing her best game. I feel like she was flinching on everything. But I mean, the fact that you went 5 rounds with Amanda Nunes, whew.
Yeah, and if you watched it after they raised the arm of Amanda Nunes, towards the end of that, they were talking, and Amanda Nunes actually took her belt and put it on the shoulder of Felicia Spencer. I think, I think that was a little bit of a thing, just saying, that Felicia Spencer at some point will be a champion again. She was a champion in Invicta and did really well. All right, enough of that talk. We're going to get back to the recruiting thing. I want to have Roger talk a little bit about this new recruit that we have. Roger, what can you tell us about this guy?
Okay, so wide receiver
Cameron
Cam Brady.
Brady.
We pulled another Texas wide receiver. He continues our recent theme of pulling in tall receivers. So we've got some speedy guys that we built up, but now we're going back to the height. He's 6'3", 195, 3-star wideout out of Arlington, Texas. He boasts a lot of offers from which include Ole Miss, Arkansas, Kansas, Houston, Arizona, and a plethora of others. He's another multi-sport athlete, and again, that's kind of been a theme for us, which excites me. He plays basketball and runs the 400-meter 400 meters in track. So he's another speedster with height. He was used primarily to stretch the field, and on comeback routes, he won a lot of contested balls and really made some circus catches. So from that standpoint, I don't know if you guys remember Traquan and the circus catches. I mean, that one catch he pulled off the Tulsa guy. This is what he reminds me a lot of. He's got great hands. He also, in his film, was able to block really well. And when he did get some space on returns or go routes, he could create a lot of separation with his speed. He tracks the ball well. I think he was a little bit of a disadvantage because his QB made him wait on a lot of balls. So it'll be interesting to see how his speed fares when someone can actually lead him. So I'm thinking, those rainbow throws from Dylan are going to be great for him because he can take advantage of the separation he creates when he gets going on those go routes. And then he joins, of course, Mallinger and Franks, which we talked about before, another big receiver and now we've got one receiver spot left, and I think that goes to a transfer. In addition to that, we also have had a recent focus on tight end. That's something we didn't see the tight end play that we needed last year. There was kind of a drop off. There was a lot of reasons for that, but we really need that to open up the middle of the field instead of relying on DG or KZ to run so much. It's another weapon when teams are blitzing and shooting gaps. You saw that a lot in the Cincy game. And by the way, the bat signal went out.
Roger, thanks, man. I'm sorry, we're getting cut off here. This is our time has come to the end of our show.